And how do you feel about that adjustment period?
I think the adjustment period was just I guess for me, the light bulb epiphany that this is our life and this is how it's going to look. You're in Walmart and it's time to, get shopping done, and he sees something and he spazzes out.
Kit Kats.
And he gets to screaming real loud because, look, dude, we got to get out of here because we got to go. And so a lot of embarrassment. You feel a sense of embarrassment, but you also feel, like, I can't get through to this kid. And so, a lot of times when you want to go to family functions or outings, it's a bit difficult because, if it's not, structured, or it's not how, he needs it to be, it's not working for him in the moment. If he's uncomfortable, then you have to take him out of there. And, although we feel like he needs to be acclimated to society and social norms, you just wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just something we couldn't force on him at the time. And I don't think we understood that. Now we do, but.
So, the adjustment period, like you said, was long and hard. But I think we came out of it prepared. The moral of the story is that when your kid is different, you adjust. And the better you get at adjusting, the easier it is for your kid to develop normally and acclimate to who he is and who he's expected to be. I would say now we're in a period where we thrive. Philip is the success story of autism, I would say. He went from having no language, no eye contact, none of the things when he got to school at the age of 4 with his diagnosis, to now he's 11 years old. He's in a regular education classroom. He's really a strong reader and writer. There are some issues, where his stuff may not be all the way grade level appropriate, but he is actually in the world dominating. He's an incredible filmmaker. He's funny. He has friends. He's equipped and capable of having relationships with his siblings and neighbors and friends and family members. He's thriving. I mean, he knows who he is and what he wants to do with his life. He's excited about, he said he's gonna have 7 kids. He has names for his 7 kids. We are so lucky. And we, like I said, it was the adjustment. It was the fact that our backyard had to have a trampoline in it. We had to move onto a street that had a dead end because if he did wander out, we needed it not to be dangerous for him. We had to turn our basement into a playroom to make sure that he got the stimulus he needed until he no longer needed it. We adjusted, and now I am so grateful to say that we get to thrive. Very, very proud of him, but very proud of us. And so now we want to give you some trinkets, some advice.
Okay.
You want to start or you want me? I can start.
Yeah, okay.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the most natural thing for parents and families to do is to get behind closed doors, close the windows, hide. Think that the best way to handle this is away from everyone else, and that is the wrong thing to do. Autism is no one's fault, and so you don't have to be ashamed or embarrassed of it. We found that once we opened ourselves to our community, the world responded to us and opened up to us, and people empathized with us, and people wanted to be a part of what we were doing, and people wanted to know how best to help and support us. It was completely a shock to us.
Absolutely.
So the first thing is get out. So what if you get embarrassed? You're grown, you can deal with it. Allow that child to explore the world. Don't be afraid to make friends. Don't be afraid of what people think. I have friends with kids with autism that took business cards with them to the grocery stores, and when their kids started acting up and they started getting looks from other parents, they would give out those business cards, and it said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I have autism. Please don't judge my mom." And things like that. Just kind of do what you have to do to get out there. Don't hide the world from your kid, and don't hide your kid from the world.
Absolutely. And so, I think it's very important what you said about not hiding your kid, because it's so easy to live in shame. And, for me, I think if you begin to show that, like, my thing is if I respond negatively or if I panic, then the kid panics. And it's like saying to the kid, well, what's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with my situation that I can't go out what normal people do? And so you just don't want to necessarily set those types of stereotypes for the kid. And so you have to begin to be comfortable, because the more comfortable you are, the kid will be kids don't know social cues and that sort of stuff. Like, so it doesn't matter. You meet Philip today, he's very confident in who he is. I mean, of course, everybody's emotional or whatever, but for the most part, he's a well-adjusted kid because he's very much confident. And, as a father, that's something I had to allow him to do, especially me being a brother. And so I kind of grew up where, people in my community, the African American community, and maybe other communities as well, you deal with, disabilities in a way that you don't know how to deal with them. It's just something that comes along. And so I think a lot of people, at least from my community standpoint, have been in a place of denial or, ignorance or not necessarily understanding what it is. A lot of times we just look at it as a thing that's, somebody's just being bad or disrespectful, or your baby's just bad and you don't know what you're doing. And that's not necessarily the case. And I think a lot of people who do live in shame don't get the help or get the diagnosis or get the things that they need to get that child, what they need in order to kind of help them socialize and integrate into the rest of the world.
And so with that point, I think it's important to get the help, get all the help, every class, every training, every therapist. Definitely people of color have a problem with opening the doors of their home to strangers because they feel like somebody's going to come in your house and judge you. And that's not what happens. It is the most liberating thing to allow a professional to come in and do what they've been trained to do with the kid that you don't have control over. And it's only the right thing. So definitely, like you said, don't be afraid to get help, and lean in. There are so many support groups. There are so many websites. There are so many chat rooms. There are so many resources for families on the autism spectrum. Definitely take advantage of them. We would just ask that you visit autismspeaks.org. It's an incredible organization. Get active. You're going to meet so many families. You're going to bond with so many families and get the help. Get therapy for yourself. Get therapy for you as a couple. Get therapy for your other children who have to deal with a sibling having autism. And that would be our advice. Just kind of get outside, get into the world, and we're here. We're families, who have kids living with autism, and we're here to stay.